Welcome back, Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And before I get started, if you like this video, please drop a thumbs up on it. It helps out the channel a whole bunch. If not, thumbs down works as well. And if you like knife content and you're not already, smash that subscribe button. All right, today I have a brand new Civivi for y'all. It is the Civivi Brazen in the drop point configuration. They had one before this that was in the Tanto configuration. And if you hadn't seen my video on this, you might want to go check it out because I snapped the tip on this one doing something a little dumb. But nonetheless, if you hadn't seen it, go check it out. And today, like I said, we will be talking about the drop point configuration in a different steel than the Tanto, and that's what really kind of got me excited about this one. So let's pan down to the tabletop and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Alright, the Brazen drop point comes in at $49.30, and you can get it in all those different variations like they always have. They can get it in black G10, red G10, and purple G10. You can either get it in this stonewashed blade or a black blade with the red G10. Also, they offered a Damascus with, I think, some carbon fiber. But let's get some specs out of the way so you can get an idea of how big this knife is. You have an overall length of 8 inches. You have a blade length of 3.5 inches, a grip area of around 3 3/4 of an inch, a handle thickness from here to here of 0.48, so it's on the thinner side. You have a closed width in the pocket from here to here of 1.21 inches, a blade stock thickness of 0.12 inches, and a behind the edge thickness of around 16 thousandths, and sharpened at 21 degrees per side. Alrighty, why don't we drop into some usage footage and we'll get back into my final conclusions right after that. Alright, we're gonna check the initial sharpness on Civivi Brazen. This is the factory edge. Civivi usually does a pretty good job with their factory edges. Still get better results if you sharpen it, but didn't have time to do that. Go. All right, with the Brazen, we're going to cut this 3/4 inch sisal rope 3 times. At least try, and then this 10 times with this 3/8 inch rope. Let's get into it. Alright, that's all I'm going to do safely, so let's see how it does with the 3/8. Alrighty, we're going to test the ergos by doing a little wood shaving. Let's see. Alrighty. For the most part, it was good. I mean, as good as a flat-handled scaled knife was going to be. I had good control over it and felt better than a lot of the knives I've been testing today. All right, we're going to cut up several materials, some dense tubing, some 3/8 inch or 1/4 inch bungee, stretchy bungee, some other dense tubing, some denim, rolled up denim, and some leather. Start with the bungee. Great. All right, we're gonna try to cut through this. I don't know if it'll be able to do it. This is 27,000 pound breaking strength recovery strap. Some heavy duty stuff. But we're gonna try. I know it has trouble for a razor knife. Let's see if I can cut through it. It's not gonna be one cut for sure. All right, keep it digging to the edge. Now we're gonna try to cut through some zip ties, 25 pound, 150 pound, 160 pound zip tie. That thing, this one right here is a beast. Let's try it out. We'll push cut this first one. Yeah, this thing's a nasty beast. All right, now we're gonna cut through some of this jumper cable wire. It's old, one of them small jumper cables. We're just gonna try to slice through. Nice. Clean cuts. Excellent. All right, we're gonna do 3 strikes on this aluminum round bar for edge impact. I hit that pretty darn hard. That right there is from cutting that, those 2 are from cutting that other stuff. The cable, no chips that I see. It's still good. All right, Velasquez, we're gonna try to go through this copper wire. I know the riffle made it through without a problem. I marked off a section of the blade where I'm trying to hit it, so I know where I hit it at. And let's give it a shot. One shot. That's how it's done. And that's when you have a good heat treat. No edge deformation whatsoever. And let's see. Last several I've done that with, it crinkled the edge. And I can still cut with this one. One other thing, I think this edge was sharper than the others that they crinkled. That definitely makes a big difference. You saw one strike, I was able to get through it. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that usage footage, and let's look at this, get a closer look at this. You have a nice drop point blade, very classic drop point. That blasted finish on there is nice and smooth, so it's not gonna bog down on any materials. That swedge comes down, gives you a nice tapered point right there, so you can be able to have a nice pokey point. You got a high flat grind that slices very well. If you couldn't tell in the videos, it was going through material pretty easily, especially with this factory edge. After putting your own edge on here, it'll perform even better. It does have a perfectly executed sharpening choil, dual thumb studs that are comfortable, and fine cut jimping right there. That's, I'd say, medium traction. When you really bear down on it, it'll grab onto that thumb. You have a very slight ramp on here, not much. Close it up. The action on this thing is excellent. just like the original Brazen. Detents dial perfectly for that flipper tab, which also has that fine cut jimping and grabs the finger just right. And for that thumb deployer, it comes out nicely as well. Spotty flick. And if you want to slow roll it, you can slow roll it. So Civivi knows what they're doing when it comes to their detents and pretty much all the knife, if I'm going to be honest. The G10 is a peel ply texture with about medium traction on it. It's just flat scales with a bevel going around the whole entire knife to give it somewhat of a contoured feeling. Ergos in the cutting, it was as comfortable as a flat scaled knife could be. I didn't see any major hot spots or anything. Anytime though, when I'm bearing down and you got these flat scales, it's always going to cause me trouble right here. But other than that, it wasn't anything that I needed to put a glove on or anything. The access to that lock bar, easy, because it's a little bit proud of the show side scale, and you have that jimping on there, so it's very easy to get to the lock bar. Your lockup is around, I'd call that about 40%, perfectly underneath the tang of the blade, so very solid lockup, no wiggle up or down, left or right. Easy access to that thumb stud for deploying, and also for the left side as well. No problems whatsoever. And speaking of left side, you could also swap this clip over, left or right tip up, carry only, deep carry pocket clip. Let's see what it looks like in the pocket. So there you go. It buries into the pocket nicely, and it kind of stays out of the way. Your hardware on here is all T8 construction, done very nicely, recessed into the scales. You have a lanyard post right here that's into the G10 backspacer. Your liners are black as well. Stainless steel liners have been coated black, and as you can see in there, there's some pretty heavy weight relieving in there. Nice to see that. Speaking of the weight, let's get a quick weight on this knife. Feels pretty lightweight. First in grams, 105 grams or 3.71 ounces. So that's excellent in my opinion for an EDC knife. Let's see, make sure I didn't forget anything. The blade to handle ratio is perfect, pretty much 1-to-1. If it came out anymore, it would be rubbing against this backspacer. You can't touch that blade in the closed position. Light switch, excellent. And push button, being you got that flat spot right there, comes out just the same. So either way, whatever one you like. Let's get some size comparisons out of the way real quick. You have the steel wheel Sargus. The Sargus is just a tad bit shorter, and you have the Kaiser Begleiter, which is a little bit longer. Let's see, two other Wii's. You got the Civivi Riffle. This one is probably the best in length size comparison. They're pretty much identical, if not identical in length. And then you have the Civivi Dogma, which the Dogma is a little bit shorter than the Brazen. You got two more. You got the Kershaw Blur. The Blur is another good size comparison, and overall, you know, it's got a lot of similarities. Another one that has a lot of similarities is the Real Steel. What is this? The H6S1. They're pretty close in looks and in the way they feel in the hand as well. So there you go. So nitpicks and complaints. I'm gonna tell you, I don't have many at all. The only thing that I noticed, and you know, I see this a lot on, you know, not just with, I think this one, yeah, this one too, not just with Civivi, but after they sharpen the knife, they usually like sharpen it on They strop it on a power buffer, like a buffing wheel, like maybe like a leather strop or something. And on this side, it's good. You can see that nice crisp point right there. But on this side, it's gonna be hard to show it in the light. You can see it. That point is not as crisp over here, so you don't really have that good of a point. You know, it's not a big deal. After I sharpen the first time, that'll be taken care of, but just something to note. But other than that, you know, both of these knives right here have been excellent, even though I snapped the blade on this one. But if I had to choose between the two, it would be this all day, every day, because this one's in 14C28N, and that's a stainless steel, and Civivi does a great job with it. If you hadn't seen any of my testing footage, if you hadn't seen this riffle test footage, if you want to see how well their 14C does, go watch this. This one did excellent, and this one did just as good. So I hope they start using the 14C more often. They definitely listen to the customers, because, you know, a lot of us talked about it, and look, they put it in there. Even if they did the Tanto in a version 2 or the next run, if they do this one in 14C, I'll buy another one. I like the Tanto a lot. I'm just not a huge fan of the D2. I mean, I live in the South. D2 is not a stainless, and it's just not my favorite steel, and you see it on pretty much every budget knife nowadays. So 14C is a great option. Takes a super keen edge, and it's pretty tough as well. So there you go. Definitely one I would recommend, the Civivi Brazen. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.